So in today's class, we will be discussing about flex. In last class, we made this very raw kind of like the nav bar of our portfolio, which gives you the links for the homepage, the resume, the achievements, certificates, contact, and all such details. So I want you people to these are separate HTML files. This is a resume page. This is a home page. Home page redirects to the same page, the starting page. This is the achievements page. This is the contact page. This is the certificates page. I want you people to fill these pages only with content. Did you get my point? I want you people to fill these HTML pages with content. I don't need any CSS. I don't need any JavaScript. Just simple HTML with your content. Okay. That is your task for today, for till the next class. So now let's go into flex. Flex is an interesting concept. I'll be telling you only the basics. I want you people to know more from the web. I gave you the link, right? In that you can just do some kind of research and you can know more about flex. Day 5 CSS. Let me open this folder in Visual Studio Code. Yeah, this is the folder. Let me create a file which is flex.html. And for creating a boilerplate, that's the exclamation mark. You will be getting the you will be getting the boilerplate, and the title is flex demo. You can start it. You can run the live server, which will be opened in the Chrome. Let me write a simple CSS day5, and you'll be getting the output here CSS day5. Now, before going into flex concept, I have to tell you about a property called as float. Okay, so this float, what is the meaning of float in English, guys? Float is like moving freely, right? So the property of float here in CSS means and allows the elements in your HTML document to be placed at different positions. Like you will have the values like left and right for float, which helps you to align the elements at the left or at the right. That is about float. Let's see some demonstration on float. And yeah, if you want notes, I'll give you the notes also. So firstly, we have to discuss about float, right? Float is a property which allows to the align the elements to left or right. Okay, this is the main property, and let us see the demonstration for this. Let me create a class, a div container with class div1, and let me write some here demo of float. Okay, and let me include the CSS. This is the internal CSS. The style tag, and in that it will be, because we are going to access the div1 class, we have to write dot div1, and let me set the height as some 60 pixel. This may be more, 30 pixel. With this 40 pixel, and some color as violet. Oh, this is not sufficient, right? Let me make it as 70. No, wait, this is not sufficient. Okay, let me do it as 120 pixel. This is happening. Now let me create another div with div2 as class. Float 1, float 2, this float 1, and I'll give the same rules for div2 also. I'll change the background color. Okay, so this, let me change this into div2. Let me increase the height also. 130, 130. Yeah. Okay. Now, so here are the two divs. Now let's see the property of float. Like we have discussed that float is a property which allows to align the elements to either left or right. You can move the elements. That, like, there are two values for float property. It is left or right. So if you want to use left, you should say float left. If you want to use right, you should say float right. So in the same way, let us try to do some code. Let us try to code something. Yeah. Okay. Now let me apply float for div1. Div1 is this. Like, let me div1. This is div2. Okay. So let me apply float property to div1. Float. Let me apply float as. So what happened here? When I applied float right to div1, div1 is going to right and div2 is taking this place. Did you understand why? Because firstly, when the code is being executed, firstly div1 will be placed at the right according to its CSS rule. Okay, and the place to the left of div1 will be empty, right? It will be empty. And if you like, if you see here, there is another div called div2, and its default float value is left. So because there is no element and the place is empty, div2 takes this place. Okay, and if you again use float left, float right to the second div also, what will it do? It is not going down. It is just going to the next, like the previous position of div1. This is because there is, like, elements are being aligned from right to left. While they are being aligned to right to left, they try to occupy the place. They try to occupy the places which are empty. So because after div1, since the div2 property is float right, and there is some space at the right side before div1, div2 is occupying that place. Okay, that is about float right. And Yeah. Now coming to Flexbox. In the last class, what I told you people is when you while designing the portfolio, you have different sections like you have home, you have resume, you have certifications, you have achievements, you have contact. All these names, like when you look at some website, even when you look at some website, like let's go to PloughIT website only. When we look at websites like this, the nav bar, the header over here, this is called as nav bar because it is used for navigation. There is home, there is services, there are products, there are R&D, there are team, there is content, and all these things are nothing but developments. And these developments, if they are used as raw developments like basic HTML developments, they will be placed one after the other because the development is block level element. They will be placed in a vertical way. To get them into horizontal way and to add spaces between those elements, we have to use one way of making them horizontal and adding spaces, like making them look like a classic navbar. You have to use flexbox. And there is another concept in CSS called as grid. Grid is completely like it we can say that grid is same as flex, but grid grid you grid is applied on rows and columns. Okay. And if I have to say more about flex is nothing but a module in CSS. It is a concept in CSS where we will be dealing with aligning the elements in a row or in a column. Like you will be, if there is a column of elements, you will be able to style elements at once in that column only. Okay. Let us see one example. I'll just write some notes first. Let's. If you are interested, you can note down the notes also. Flex aims at um, providing a better way to lay out, align, and distribute items in a container. Container is nothing but a div or a class of elements. So the syntax for using flexes, like able to use flexes, dot class name or ID name or the element, any type of selector. Let me write selector. Display. The property name is display and the value name is flex. So this is syntax of using flex. Now what you can do is just remove all this and give some class to body container and write the CSS rule for container. Let me, yeah. Now the whole thing is gone. Let me remove this float. When you remove the float, they will be coming one after the other. And let me write the class for body container. Because it is a class, I have to use dot and then display. Yes. You know what happened? What happened? What has happened? Uh, both of them came together, right? Let me give some border. This looks That would look better, I think so. 3 pixel solid black. Solid black. That gives a border for one element. Border is set. Yeah, this is the flex. When you use flex, both the elements will be coming side by side. And you can do this using span tags also. But in most cases, in most of the website, using flex is more effective. So they'll be using flex. There are many other like uses for flex also. I'll be telling you about that. So once you have declared a like used flex in a container, you will be having many number of properties like properties that influence the position of those elements. So one such property is flex direction. First is flex direction. The second is flex wrap. The third is justify content. The fourth is align items. And the fifth one is align content. Yeah, these are the properties, text properties. Now we'll be discussing all these properties. So the default flex direction for these steps is right, left. So if I say flex direction, oh yeah, let me write the values also for flex direction. The values for flex direction are row reverse, column, column reverse. These are the four properties of flex direction, and the default one is row. As you can see that I just gave the display value as flex and the default value is row because all these two elements are in a row, are in the same, which is default one. And for flex wrap, we have values as wrap, no wrap. I'll explain you all these things. Don't worry, just write them somewhere. Wrap reverse, wrap reverse. So these are the properties for flex wrap. And you have the similar properties for justify content and just align items. All these things you can Google them. I think for this class I'll be able to discuss only these two. The next class I'll go with the next three also. So let me apply flex direction for the container. This is a row. This is already a row because and if you apply row again, there will be no change. If I say it to be column, they come to a column. Okay. And if I say it to be row reverse, what will happen? What is the difference between row and row reverse? So for that, um, let me do one. with dot container and remove this container. And let me declare another flex item. This container 2. This would be container 1. And this is container 1. And container 1. Let me write for container 2. Okay. So this is this container 1 thing is row reverse. The flex direction is row reverse. See if you can see that the sequence is being reversed. First we'll be getting div 2 and then next div 1. This is the normal default flex direction, which is row. First we'll be getting div 1 and next we'll be getting div 2. This is a combination of float, guys, flex and float. Okay. Float, if we like in the previous example, we saw that when we gave float right as a CSS rule for div 1, what happened is div 1's position has changed from left to right and it was placed to the rightmost direction of our web page. Okay. Similarly, if you use flex direction as row reverse, the elements alignment would be reversed and they would be placed to the rightmost direction. Okay, that is the difference between row and row reverse. Now let us experiment with column. Let me create some more containers. Okay, I have created container 3 with the same properties, display as flex, declare container 3, yeah, display as flex, and then what I'll do is flex direction as column. Let me put some margin. Margin top 10 pixel. Not sufficient. 30 pixel. So the first flex direction is row reverse. The next is row. This is column. The elements will be aligned in a column sequence. And let me create another container with class container 4. And the flex direction would be column reverse. Okay. What is happening here? The first flex direction is row reverse. The second flex direction is row. The third flex direction is column, and the last flex direction is column reverse. Did you understand the difference between column and column reverse? I hope so. And getting back into our code, yeah, this is all about flex direction. Flex direction, and the next property is flex wrap. Flex wrap is nothing but, see, where you have your web page like this, right? Now if you are decreasing the size of your web page, how are these elements alignment being changed? Like this element is coming closer to this element, right? The container 1 element is coming closer to container 2 element, and these two elements are not getting any change. Let me like see, yeah, okay. It is all about, like, when you are when you are designing a website, you have to keep in your mind about the like UI you have to keep in your mind about the about how the UI of your website would be seen in your laptop, in a tab, in a phone. In such a way, you have to keep that your website will be accessed from different devices with different screen sizes. So according to those screen sizes, your element should be like changing their alignments. Okay. um, so there is one property called as flex wrap. So when you use flex, the position of the elements are relative. Like the position of one element is dependent on the position of second element. Like here, if you see, when you use flex direction as row reverse, what happened? Your row is being reversed, and there are two elements here in this container, div1 and div2. Now the alignment of div2 is dependent on div1. If there is no div1, div2 would be the first element in that container. So because there is a first element, div1 is being placed at the rightmost side, and then div2 is being attached to the div1. So what we can say is that the position of one element is dependent on the position of another element. So like the position of one element is dependent on the position of another element. So in what am I saying? Yeah, I'm talking about flex wrap, right? So flex wrap is one such kind of property which helps in adjusting the positions, adjusting the spaces between the elements, adjusting the sizes of the elements when you decrease the size of your screen. So let me create another file for demonstrating flex wrap and boilerplate. Let me close this. Open it in live server. Yeah. Now let me create elements fastly. Here I'm creating 6 steps, and let me take oh style tag. Yeah. Let me put a class container, and then write CSS rule for this container, display as flex, and let's see what is happening. Div6. So when I like maximize the window size, you will be able to see that all the elements, there is enough space for those elements. And now if I decrease the size of the elements, what is happening? They are getting shrinked, right? And you can no more minimize this size. You can no more minimize the size. And when you are minimizing this much, these elements are not being resized. And the size of then the width of the web page is not decreasing. It is just limiting. Okay, now what you can do is you can use a property called as flex wrap. You can use a property as flex wrap, and you can say wrap. Wrap is not the song rap. Okay, so what is happening here? Here you have given the height of the div to be 130 pixel, and the height is being retained. The height is not being changed. When you maximize this window, the height is 130 pixel. When you reduce the size of the window, the height is still 130 pixel. And one thing you can find out is that when you are using wrap value for a flex wrap, your elements are being adjusted according to the window size. Okay, previously your divs, all these divs were in the same row. Okay, let me show it to you clearly. um, dot container one, and let's remove this one. Let me create another container. Div dot container 2. This is one thing. And div dot container 2. Yeah, container 1. And container 2. Okay, so there are two containers. Let me remove this flex wrap here for container 2. And add some margin. Okay, or else let me remove it from container 1. So the above container is not having any wrap. Okay, and you can see that the size of the containers is being reduced in the first case when you are decreasing the size of the window. Okay, so this is the difference between wrap and the default thing. The default thing is, I think it is no wrap. Yeah, the default value for flex wrap is no wrap. Okay, and wrap reverse. Let me try this. Wrap reverse. There is another value for flex wrap. It is wrap reverse. So what is happening? The first thing. The first container is wrap reverse. The second container is wrap. The columns are being interchanged. The rows are being interchanged. Right? So in this here, this is a normal wrap. The sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whereas in the wrap reverse container, the sequence is being interchanged. That is, the rows are being interchanged. The second row here in this wrap container is being the first row in the wrap reverse container. Did you understand? The rows are being interchanged. So that is the difference between wrap and wrap reverse in flex wrap. Okay, and no wrap is a default thing. Yeah. Did you understand, guys? Did you understand? What is flex? Flex is nothing but it gives you some properties and values which can be applied to alter the CSS of elements either in a row or either in a column. Okay, now you are see here. What are you like? You are able to deal with elements of only a row type or only a column type. You are not able to deal with items of two-dimensional data. Okay, so you're not at once declaring a table and you are like table kind of thing and altering the alignments of the contents of the table. So here what we are doing is we are at a time accessing or altering the CSS using flex of only horizontal data or only vertical data. Okay, this is all about flex. This is not all about flex, but you have, like, in addition to these properties, you have other properties like you have border, you have align cell, you have flex grow and flex shrink. Grow and flex shrink. Okay. So I'll be covering these three things in the next class. So that is all for today's class about flex. It's a very important concept. In most of the websites, in 98% of the websites, flex will be used repetitively. So I want you people to practice flex.